All right, so let's do Green Lantern. Now, Green Lantern is do we have to talk about Green Lantern being based on a comic book? Do people know this? Come on, let's have a show of hands.
What?
Green Lantern based on a comic book. It's Hal Jordan. He's an egotistical flyboy.
I thought it was based on an ancient Sanskrit poem.
It's based on an ancient Sanskrit poem about a Ryan Reynolds plays Hal Jordan, who I think is the most famous Green Lantern in the decades that Green Lantern's been around in DC. And in the film, he plays, just like in the comic, an egotistical flyboy who winds up coming into possession of this green ring that gives him intergalactic powers. And when he joins the Green Lantern Corps, he joins a group of crazy Star Wars space cantina aliens who each patrol a certain section of the galaxy. It's based on a true story. I don't know if you know that. It's actually a documentary, just like Colin Hanks' thing's a documentary. It's the same thing. They each patrol a different section of the galaxy, and of course there's a big giant monster who's on the way to Earth, and Hal Jordan, the egotistical flyboy who has to get over his father issues in order to fight this monster and save the world. So before Amy and I talk about whether we like the film or not, let's take a look at a clip.
I've been sent to welcome you here.
And here is?
Welcome to Oa. This planet has been our home for countless millennia. Since time immemorial, the Green Lantern Corps has served as the keepers of peace, order, and justice throughout the universe. To be chosen to join its ranks is the highest of honors and the greatest of responsibilities.
Yeah, that part I heard about.
We're going to fly now.
Fly?
Absolutely.
All right. I can do that.
Join me.
I have to say that I believe that Green Lantern is going to be the tipping point after which people will start to get sick of superhero movies. You know, there are the major players like Spider-Man and Superman and Batman, and there's been terrific films made out of all those characters. Now you're getting into some of the B players. In the Marvel side, you've got Iron Man, and here now you've got Green Lantern. And the problem with Green Lantern, which I liked a little bit, basically didn't like, it's really top down. First of all, there's Ryan Reynolds. I think Ryan Reynolds is a smug actor who the guy is a cold fish to me. And it's okay. It's okay to be smug when you're playing an egotistical test pilot. That's fine. My problem with him is that he has absolutely no sincerity. You know, he just has no warmth. The guy has no emotionality.
I know personally he's a nice guy.
And that might be true. I am not reviewing his personality.
He's Canadian.
Huh? Now I hate him. Canada's America's hat. I don't know if you know that.
You're saying you don't like the riots?
What? Huh? Oh, what was that about, the riots, as we digress? What was the riots
I don't know,
about,
but I'm
Mike
blaming
Rodman?
Green Lantern for him.
Well, I think if Ryan Reynolds had shown up and said, guys, chill, I think it would have ended.
Who, of Green Lantern said that?
No, just Ryan Reynolds himself. He's got that much charm.
You know, I have to say, Ryan Reynolds, he's pretty dreamy. It's true. He is dreamy. And I'm saying that as a heterosexual male.
He's got like 12 abs. I mean, they stack up everywhere.
Well, in the movie, which is basically all CGI, including the costume, each ab muscle is actually independently defined and has like its own independent movement. It's a very strange costume. Anyway, what I'm saying is that Ryan Reynolds has absolutely no sincerity, no emotionality to him. So you've got this story about a flyboy who's very egotistical, and it turns out that egotism is actually hiding a certain amount of fear. So he needs to get over that fear. But he just can't convey that. And when you look at somebody like Ryan Reynolds, and then you look at somebody like Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man, how much did Robert Downey Jr. make Iron Man what it was? That guy Tony Stark is just as egotistical as Hal Jordan, but somehow Robert Downey Jr., who's a great two-time Oscar-nominated actor, can make that work. Ryan Reynolds can't. So you start with him. Then you go to Blake Lively. Blake Lively plays Carol Ferris, who is in some sort of ill-defined relationship with Hal Jordan. I believe they were childhood friends who slept together at some point. Now I'm not quite sure. It's not really made all that clear. She's also kind of a cold fish. She's a TV actress who's not quite at major league level yet. I didn't think she was all that great. The two of them have no chemistry together. The best thing in the movie is Peter Sarsgaard, who plays Henry Hammond, who winds up falling under the influence of the main alien, and he turns into this big crazy alien with like a big gigantic elephant man, Rocky Dennis head. He's terrific. He's terrific. Otherwise, I have to say, I just didn't like this film. Now, Amy Nicholson, here's what happens. So last night at the movie, Wade was sitting next to me, right? Our friend Tim Cogshell sitting next to him, and sitting next to me on the other side, Amy Nicholson.
Surprise.
Now, when the...
I just sit all the way in the back row. These guys are cranks. They don't sit anywhere near a movie.
Honestly, because I like to fall asleep. So you're sitting next to me, and the moment the movie's over, you leave. It's over. Bam. You're out the door. So I'm thinking, wow, she probably hated it. Like, get me out of here, right? Well, am I right or am I wrong?
Well, first, let me jump in. First, I need to make sure that we're very clear on one thing. You're calling Ryan Reynolds a flyboy, but I want to make it clear to everybody he's a pilot, and he's not, like, say, a backup dancer for In Living Color, just so our terminology is correct here.
I believe flyboy works for those who are, of a
like
certain vintage.
People who
and knows what that used to
remember
be.
bazooka chewing gum. Yeah.
You kids today. Back when I was a kid, in the 1870s, flyboy meant something different.
I'm going to have to disagree with you. Like, pretty hardcore, especially on the Ryan Reynolds factor.
Her first review? She's kicking my butt? What's that about? Get her out of here!
I think this movie works, and I think the only reason why it works is because Ryan Reynolds underplays it with just this casualness. He comes across like a real human. Like, if you actually did discover a ring, how would you play it? And there's a little bit of mockery to it. There's a little bit of puffery. He's excited about it. Like, he somehow manages to make walking around in this like laser suit, that's the most ridiculous thing in the world, seem completely natural. In fact, I could see you doing the exact same thing if a ring came to you.
No, here's the thing. If a ring came to me, I would do exactly what this movie didn't do, which is I would freak out. I would have this amazing sense of wonder. I would be incredibly thrilled, horribly scared, and then I would put on the ring. With Ryan Reynolds, he does his little thing where maybe there's like one look to the camera. He's like, oh my God, what's that? And then he just does it. He just puts the ring on.
Well, I mean, to be honest, if like an alien was going to propose to you with this green ring, wouldn't you say yes, just right away? Just slip that thing on your finger? But the other thing is, what I find really interesting about this, and I'm coming about it from a person who's not a comic book fan at all. I'm sick to death of them, and I cannot wait for them to end. This one actually worked for me, and I was prepared for this to be the worst out of everything. I thought I could give Thor a pass, because I'm really into like Vikings and blondes and, guys with gigantic muscles who walk around. But this one, having no bone in this fight, caring nothing about the credibility of Green Lantern, I could care less if they name-check every galaxy, which they kind of do at the beginning. It's like you're preparing to take a spelling test. It's all numbers and jargon and things like car-a-laga. But somehow, the way that everybody in that movie reacted, the way I really think a normal person would react in these circumstances was perfect. And I really like Blake Lively's character. Because you have a girl who, the thing is, yes, they did sleep together. He's sort of trying to win her over. You get the sense he never really called again. But she gives him like a genuinely hard time. She's not just like the girl in this movie. She's not just like the bimbo. She makes him work for everything that happens in their romance. And I mean, she was a valid character, and I don't really appreciate the fact that she had to dye her hair brown from blonde in order to be taken seriously as a pilot in this movie. But other than that, I thought it was smart casting.
Interesting, very interesting. Because, you look at, again, at Iron Man, which is this movie's kind of equivalent, if there is one, and you look at Pepper Potts, the Gwyneth Paltrow character, and when you look at Gwyneth Paltrow, what she brings to a role that even in Iron Man is fairly underwritten, and I thought this role was underwritten too, you see what a real actress can bring to it. And then you look at Blake Lively, who will pretty much play what's on the page, and that's kind of it. She won't really elevate it at all. So I didn't really, I felt that the two of them didn't have a whole lot of chemistry to me. I felt that they were two cold people trying to kind of manufacture a relationship because that's what the movie requires. I didn't really care about them. That's the thing, I didn't care about them.
Really? Not even like when he swoops under a balcony and he's wearing his mask and he's kind of mimicking being a superhero and disguises his voice a little bit and she just calls him out straight away?
There was a cute line where she says, actually, there is a cute line about the mask, how, because the one thing with superheroes is that the idea that somebody can hide their secret identity when they're wearing a mask that covers their eyes,
exactly,
which nobody understood. There's a funny line about that. But essentially, the thing with the movie, too, is that balcony scene reminds you a lot of the original Superman, the Donner Superman. And there is a lot of stuff here about that really harkens back to some of these other superhero films. And the thing is that when the parts of the film that harken back to other superhero films, this film always winds up the lesser. you know. And I have to say that I think that, you know, right now from a superhero standpoint, it used to be DC's game. Now it's really Marvel's game. I thought Thor was good. I thought X-Men First Class was terrific. But this, I just don't get it. And you know what? Martin Campbell, who's the director, I like Martin Campbell. He's a good action director. Casino Royale and, you know, even the Zorro films, right? And
Yeah.
Edge, and the BBC miniseries that became the Mel Gibson film. I think he's a terrific director, but he's not a director of emotion, really. He's a director of action. And he's done better action in other films, including the terrific reboot of James Bond.
It's true. I mean, although he is kind of handicapped here, because when you have an entire world of people who are CGI, to manufacture little crystal tears as they're summoning up their feelings for protecting the fate of the Earth, it's very hard.
That's true. No,
It's
true.
very hard.
It's true.
It's very hard. I mean, the thing that I kept thinking is I never realized until I saw this film that the Green Lantern is really an action figure that should be played by, like, say, Susan Powter or somebody, because it's all about, like, channeling willpower. Because did you know that green light, see, I never read the comic books. I know you got them all as originals when you were a kid. But
Spider-Man.
yeah. I didn't know that green light was like the power of willpower. And it just made me think like a Jillian Michaels or like a Dr. Phil could just really tear into that role.
You mean so they would use the power of will to do what? To help
It's all they
mankind?
talk about is willpower. And if you have this conduit of willpower, I really think that this is something that could be moving with. I mean, you could sell books.
You know what? It's like The Secret.
Yeah, it's almost exactly like The Secret.
It's like The Secret. Here's the thing with The Secret. I don't understand this. By the way, now we're going off into a whole other thing, and then we'll talk about Super 8. I don't get The Secret. The Secret basically tells you if you wish anything, you can have it. And so everybody comes on there. They read The Secret, and all they want is like something material, like a car.
I know,
You know,
it's true.
or a trip, or
what
a lot of money.
What you should wish is to fly to another planet
Well, you
and
should wish
then
for
rescue the
happiness.
world from evil.
Stupid
Happiness
Secret.
isn't tangible.
Huh?
It's not tangible.
This is getting way too out there and into the ether for our audience. Look at me. All right, so buy, rent, or burn. Now, Green Lantern, buy, rent, or burn. What do you say, Amy Nicholson?
You know what? If you had asked me before I saw the movie, I would have said burn, but I'm going to go with buy. I'm going to go with buy just because, A, to make you mad, and B, because I really think that Ryan Reynolds is onto something here. And he actually brings a real human to a comic book film. And I wouldn't mind seeing him get another one, especially if we're going to see Mark Strong, who we didn't really mention, get to really unveil himself as a villain.
Who's good in it?
He's fantastic in it.
Yeah.
He's good at being evil.
That's true. So
Yeah.
you are giving, it's funny because we have two completely different opinions on Ryan
Everything
Reynolds. I think the
in
guy is
life.
just totally smug
Yeah.
and self-absorbed, and no matter what he does, he just is. Somehow that guy
I think you're just
has
threatened.
You hate all guys.
You're just
you hate all
threatened.
guys who any
Yeah.
girl might like.
Exactly.
It's just your
That's not
jealousy
true.
and your hatred.
You just
and
like said that,
your
just to say that.
loneliness and-
Give me three other examples of that. You have none. Okay, you're giving.
Ashton Kutcher. You like him or hate him?
Oh, I hate that guy.
I'm just saying.
Okay, give me somebody else. I mean, who's like handsome? I'm not threatened by handsome film actors.
McConaughey.
Huh?
Matthew McConaughey.
Everybody
Sam
hates Matthew
Levine.
McConaughey. I mean, come on.
How about Sam Levine?
Everybody hates Sam Levine. I mean, come on.
Hey!
Oh,
He's here in the audience.
What? He's here? Sam Levine? All right, so you give Green Lantern a buy.
A buy. I think it's a quirky little film, and I want to see it do well.
All right, I give it a rent. It's really more of a Brent, but I will give it a rent. It's like a burn rent.
You gave it a burn.
Oh, I gave it a burn. I give it a burn. I forgot what I gave it.
Did I
Change it
convince
up.
you?
Huh?
I just convinced you to upgrade.
Oh, yeah, exactly. She convinced me. to
Wow, that's
upgrade
pretty
it.
impressive. You
I know, really.
upgraded.
I mean,
So
all right,
you're sticking with burn.
I'm sticking with burn.
All right, great.
There it is.